Good morning, my dear students. Our today's topic is environment and sustainable development. In the earlier chapters of Indian economic development, we have discussed the main economic issues faced by the Indian economy. The economic development that we have achieved so far has come at a very heavy price, at the cost of environmental quality. As we step into an era of globalization that promises higher economic growth, we have to bear in mind the adverse consequences of past development path on our environment and consciously choose a path of sustainable development. This chapter is divided into three sections. The first part deals with the functions and role of environment. The second section discusses the state of India's environment, and the third section deals with steps and strategies to achieve sustainable development. Environment. Environment is defined as the total planetary inheritance and the totality of all resources. It includes all the biotic and abiotic factors that influence each other. While all living elements, the birds, animals, plants, forests, fisheries, etc., are biotic elements. Abiotic elements include air, water, land, etc. Rocks and sunlight are also examples of abiotic elements of the environment. A study of the environment then calls for a study of the interrelationship between these biotic and abiotic components of the environment. Functions of the environment. It supplies resources. Resources here include both renewable and non-renewable resources. Renewable resources are those which can be used without the possibility of the resource becoming depleted or exhausted. Example, forest. Non-renewable resources, on the other hand, are those which get exhausted with extraction and use. Example, fossil fuels. Environment is assimilates waste. It sustains life by providing genetic and biodiversity. It also provides aesthetic services like scenery, etc. The environment is able to perform these functions without any interruption as long as the demand on these functions is within its carrying capacity. This implies that the resource's extraction is not above the rate of regeneration of the resource, and the waste generated are within the assimilating capacity of the environment. When this is not so, the environment fails to perform its third and vital function of life sustains, and this results in an environmental crisis. The current environmental crisis. Many resources have become extinct, and the waste generated are beyond the absorptive capacity of the environment. Absorptive capacity means the ability of the environment to absorb degradation. Industrial development has polluted and dried up rivers and other aquifers, making water as an economic good. The intensive and extensive extraction leads to the depletion of resources. We are compelled to spend huge amounts on technology and research to explore new resources. Added to these are the health cost of degraded environmental quality. Decline in air and water quality have resulted in increased incidence of respiratory and waterborne diseases. Hence, the expenditure on health is also rising. Global environmental issues such as global warming and ozone depletion also contribute to increased the financial commitments of the government. Thus, it is clear that the opportunity costs of negative environmental impacts are high. State of India's environment. India has abundant natural resources in terms of rich quality of soil, hundreds of rivers and tributaries, lush green forest, plenty of mineral deposits beneath the land surface, vast stretch of the Indian Ocean, ranges of mountains, etc. The black soil of Deccan Plateau is particularly suitable for cultivation of cotton, leading the concentration of textile industries in this region. The Indo-Gangetic plains are the one of the most fertile, intensively cultivated and densely populated regions in the world. India's forests, though unevenly distributed, provide green cover for a majority of its population and natural cover for its wildlife. Large deposits of iron ore, coal, and natural gas are found in the country. India alone accounts for or nearly 20% of the world's total iron ore reserves. Bauxite, copper, diamonds, gold, lead, manganese, zinc, uranium, etc. are also available in different parts of the country. The most pressing environmental concerns of India. The threat to India's environment poses a dichotomy. Threat of poverty, induced environmental degradation, and threat of pollution from effluents and a rapidly growing industrial sector. Air pollution, water contamination, soil erosion, deforestation, and wildlife extinction are some of the most pressing environmental concerns of India. The priority issues identified are land degradation. Land in India suffers from varying degrees and types of degradation. The factors responsible for land degradation are deforestation, shifting cultivation, forest fires and overgrazing, improper crop rotation, indiscriminate use of agrochemicals such as fertilizers and pesticides, non-adoption of adequate soil conservation measures, etc. Biodiversity loss. The high density of population and livestock and the computing use of land for forestry, agriculture, human settlements and industries exert an enormous pressure on the country's finite land resources. Soil erosion. According to the Government of India, the quantity of nutrients lost due to erosion each year ranges from 5.8 to 8.4 million tons. Air pollution. In India, air pollution is widespread in urban areas where vehicles are the major contributors and in a few other areas which have a high concentration of industries and thermal power plants. India is one of the 10 most industrialized nations of the world. But this status has brought with it unwanted and unanticipated consequences such as unplanned urbanization, pollution, and the risk of accidents. The Central Pollution Control Board has identified 17 categories of industries are significantly polluting. Management of freshwater and solid waste management are other issues. The above points highlight the challenges to India's environment. The various measures adopted by the Ministry of Environment and the central and state pollution control boards may not yield a reward unless we consciously adopt a path of sustainable development. The concern for future generations alone can make development last forever. Development to enhance our current living styles without concern for uh, posterity will deplete resources and degrade environment at a pace that is bound to result in both environmental and economic crisis. Thank you.